Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of This Week in Irish History. Football season is finally here, opening week at Notre Dame. This year's edition of the Irish taking on Temple. We're going to take you back to opening week a little bit more than a decade ago in 1998 when Notre Dame opened against Michigan. Was, as it always seems to be here in South Bend, a very eventful offseason. People were excited to get football underway. Why was that, Lou?
Well, during the summer, you had that infamous Joe Moore court case. The former offensive line coach under Lou Holtz was not hired by Bob Davie when he took over in 1997. It grew into an age discrimination case, and then, of course, dirty laundry got aired out and went into the courts, and it became one of those, gosh, we got to get this just behind us, sort of like with Manti Te'o and Kelly interviewing with the Eagles and Eddie Vanderdoss and everything like that. So the more things change, the more they remain the same as far as off seasons. And you had Michigan coming in as the defending co-national champion with Nebraska, and
right.
Oh yeah, their quarterback was named Tom Brady and everything. But everyone was more excited, of course, about the freshman Drew Henson, who was the can't-miss kid and everything. So, but that was one of those where you just had the worst fear of, gosh, after all that they've been through, it's going to be blown. And Notre Dame ended up, they're behind 13-6 at halftime, and then outscores them 30-7 in the second half for a 36-20 victory.
Notre Dame comes in with a big win. I think Autry Denson had a pretty big game there. What else stood out to you about that game when you think back about it?
Well, it was Jarius Jackson's first start at quarterback. And he was only like 4 for 10 for 96 yards. And, you know, Brady was like 23 of 36, close to 300 yards passing. Michigan just was going up and down the field, and they had 472 yards of total offense, but they lost 2 fumbles, and they also missed 4 field goals. So it was one of those great from the 20 to the 20. They were piling up the yards, sort of like Notre Dame's red zone offense last year, but they just couldn't convert into points. And that's an area that you're looking at this year, is not just driving the football, but finishing and getting 7 points instead of 3.
So a big come-from-behind victory in the second half. Notre Dame obviously does a great job, puts that tough off-season behind them. Where does that rank among some of the better season openers Notre Dame's had in the past 20, 30 years?
That's one of the all-time ones, really, because Notre Dame has defeated 4 teams ranked in the top 5 in an opener, and that's being the most recent one there and all. And you think back to '77 when Notre Dame had to open up against the defending national champ Panthers up there, and that kind of was the impetus to the national title. That helped winning that game. It was a very ugly game, but they won that. But the one 15 years ago against Michigan is one that you definitely remember, because even though the next week they trailed Michigan State at halftime by 42-3, that victory over Michigan kind of gave them that, or propelled them to believe that they can be competitive again. And at one point they were 9-1 before losing Jackson for the season finale at USC, which they lost. But going from 7-6 to 9-2, that was a big thing.
Probably at the top of the list of Bob Davie victories as well, you'd imagine, in his career.
That would be up there, along with probably LSU the previous year down there in Death Valley. But that would certainly rank among them.
All right, that's it for This Week in Irish History. Stop by every week to learn a little bit more about what happened in the past at Notre Dame football. I'm Dan Murphy with senior editor Lou Somogyi from Blue and Gold Illustrated.